The truth is, the gift of literature is universal in meaning and should be made accessible to everyone on every plane. So, Thug Notes is my attempt at trivializing academia's attempt at making literature exclusionary by showing that even highbrow academic concepts can be communicated in a clear and open fashion. That is a quote from Greg Edwards, aka Sparky Sweets PhD. And he has a channel on YouTube that's called Thug Notes. And what he does is he breaks down traditional and classical literature in thug style, basically just utilizing slang and what would be considered thug talk to break down literature and bring literature to the masses. I believe that literature and all knowledge should be readily available, easily accessible, free. And so I tend to write the way that I speak so that it's easy to understand. Anyone can pick it up and read something that I write. And I also tend to speak the way I speak, obviously. And so that's how I intend to do this analysis. A lot more informal than what people are probably used to. I am not trained in any way. I have no problem speaking publicly, but I mess up. You know, we're humans, and so I'm not going to edit it out. I'm going to keep on going, and hope you enjoy. So for this project, I've decided to do a deep dive analysis of Dr. Faustus, written by Christopher Marlowe, around 1592 or 1593, not quite sure. That would have been using the Julian calendar. Julian calendar was replaced by the Gregorian calendar in 1582. It was proposed by Julius and Augustus to sort of fix the old Roman calendar, which had been politicized. And it was enacted on January 1st of 45 BC until it was replaced by Pope Gregory with the Gregorian calendar in 1582. For religious reasons, to basically bring the spring equinox into alignment with the traditional telling of Easter. And when you're the Pope in 1592, you can do whatever you want. So he did. And so what he did was he essentially went back to the future and in order to just basically keep things quick, easy, in a hurry, just do it, get it over with. The day after Thursday, the 4th of October, 1582, is the 15th of October, 1582. So there are 10 days missing, just gone from history, as Pope Gregory decreed. And so Christopher Marlowe was, his date of birth and his baptism is based off the old Julian calendar. He was baptized on the 26th of February, 1564, in Canterbury, Kent, England. The really odd thing is that he would have been only a couple months older than William Shakespeare, and despite that very similar age, William Shakespeare is at bare minimum quoted as having been influenced by Marlowe, which is just very odd because, again, just so close in age. I say at bare minimum influenced by Marlowe because Marlowe's life was crazy. There was nothing normal about this man's life or his death. And so there are a lot of conspiracy theories about his life and his death. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But it does involve Shakespeare as well. At least one theory does. And he was also known as Kit Marlowe. So that just feeds into a lot of other theories that are out there about Christopher Marlowe. Like I said, everything about this man, from his plays to his life, was just wild. He's the second oldest child. However, his oldest sister, Mary, did pass away when he was only 4 years old. And so, despite being technically the second oldest child, he basically grew up as the oldest child. He was given a scholarship to the King's School in Canterbury at the age of 14. So we're looking at about 1578. The King's School is easily the oldest school in the United Kingdom, and it's thought to be the oldest active continuous school in the world. It has been holding classes uninterrupted since 597 AD, which is 1,425 years. That's an old school, very prestigious. And he was given a scholarship at the age of 14. By the age, by 1580, he was enrolled at Corpus Christi College in Cambridge, also on a scholarship, and that school was already very prestigious when he was given a scholarship. It was founded in 1352 and, again, continues to be in existence and in use today. He received his Bachelor's of Arts from Corpus Christi College in 1584, and then he went on to master Latin. Here's where all of the craziness starts to at least be documented. The school didn't want to give him his master's degree in 1597. There was a rumor that he was looking to go to the English monastery in France and become an ordained priest in the Roman Catholic Church, which would have violated Queen Elizabeth's royal decree, making it illegal for any English citizen to join the Roman Catholic Church. She was Protestant. There were a lot of anti-Catholic laws that were passed, somewhat tame, nothing crazy, but there were still anti-Catholic sentiments, and so it was illegal to join the Roman Catholic Church. So based off that rumor, they being Corpus Christi College, were going to withhold his master's degree. Until the Privy Council, which was a very powerful council that basically advised the monarch, in this case Queen Elizabeth, on pretty much everything. They intervened on his behalf and wrote a letter to Corpus Christi College, very vague, but they cited faithful dealings and good service to the Queen as reasons why his master's degree should not be withheld. Again, the vagueness and the fact that such a powerful group as the Privy Council would take an interest in Christopher Marlowe led people to sort of suspect that there was more to the story than was being let on. One of the popular theories was that he himself was a secret agent, and he was a spy, working not just for the Privy Council, but more specifically Sir Francis Walsingham. Very little is known about the adult life of Christopher Marlowe. He died very, very young. So again, it's just rumor and innuendo out there. Among the rumor and innuendo is that he was a spy. He was a brawler, a heretic, a counterfeiter. And he was arrested for passing counterfeit coins, and once again, no charges were brought, and there was no trial, and so he was let go, leading people to suspect that yet again the Privy Council was involved in, sort of getting them off, protecting their own, basically. Another theory out there is that Christopher Marlowe was gay. The reason why this theory even came about was that there were some gay themes throughout some of his plays. And so, of course, if you got gay themes in your play, you got to be gay, right? So there's no evidence whatsoever to that. And, hell, even if he was, so what, right? But that would have been a huge no-no in Elizabethan England, because it was very much controlled by the church, whether it was the Church of England or obviously the Roman Catholic Church, and the Pope was the most powerful man in the world at that time. Early May 1593, in London, a lot of bills or posters basically were posted around London threatening Protestant refugees, mostly from France and the Netherlands. They were written in iambic pentameter, or at least one was written in iambic pentameter, and alluded to several of Marlowe's plays and was even signed Tamburlaine, which was the titular character of Tamburlaine the Great, a two-part play produced by Marlowe. So an arrest warrant was put out for one of his associates, who then pointed the finger at Marlowe. And so on the 18th of May, 1593, an arrest warrant was issued for Marlowe. He turned himself in, I believe on the 20th of May, 1593, but the Privy Council was not in session. And so he was told to just keep coming back until they do what they will with you. However, he was killed on the 30th of May in 1593. And there are a lot of different accounts as to what happened. So again, just speculation, rumor, innuendo. The coroner's report, I don't know if it was lost. It was lost, basically. It was lost. But it was found in 1925 by a scholar named Leslie Hodson, who would release it to the public. According to the official coroner's report done back in 1593, I didn't even know they had coroners in 1593. They didn't even know how to wash their hands, so I don't know how they had coroners, but they did. 1593, the coroner's official report stated that Marlowe died from a stab wound above his right eye. According to some of the accounts of that night, Marlowe was indeed involved in a brawl with a gentleman named Ingram Fizer, and Fizer's account is that he acted in self-defense, and that he did indeed stab Marlowe twice, once above the right eye. Marlowe being dead, we do not have his account of what happened. So again, there's just a lot of rumor and innuendo. The coroner's report did nothing to suppress, the theories that were running wild. As we see today, there's nothing new. We get it from somewhere. So some of the theories that are out there were that he was killed by the Privy Council, or that they had him killed out of fear that he would release the names of other atheists within the Privy Council. Being an atheist, or just being a member of the Roman Catholic, according to the Church of England at the time, made you an atheist. Being an atheist was a no-no. Whether it's atheist the way we see it today, or just being a Roman Catholic, it was illegal. And so if Marlowe knew the names of other Catholics, or those who were indeed atheists or agnostic, and those names got out, it could do a lot of damage and a lot of harm to a lot of people. So one of the theories were, to keep him quiet, they had him killed, which is why they just let him keep going out and, doing his thing essentially until he died, instead of, a trial and what have you. Another theory is that because he was atheist, they had him killed. They being the Privy Council. Possible. Excuse me. It just as possible as, them wanting to hush him up. Then there are two other theories about him faking his death. One of them is just that he faked his death, and that the Privy Council actually helped him fake his death, once again, to avoid trial and to just help one of their own. And then we come back to Shakespeare. And I had said earlier that at the very least, it is said that Shakespeare was influenced by Marlowe. And I found that odd because there's just such a closeness in age. For example, I was born in April of 1984, and LeBron James was born in December of 1984. We're essentially the same age. There's a huge difference in what we look like, and obviously our bank accounts. But I could never say that I was influenced by LeBron James, even when I played high school basketball, because he played high school basketball, right? So it's not, we would have been contemporaries. I would never claim to be influenced by LeBron James the way I would have been influenced by Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. So I found that very odd. And that leads me to our final conspiracy about Christopher Marlowe, in that he faked his death as Christopher Marlowe and continued his life and his work as our boy Willie Shakes, William Shakespeare himself. So that is probably the wildest of all the conspiracy theories, and my favorites. I don't believe it, but if it's true, that is dope. So now let's get to the play, Dr. Faustus. It was, again, written shortly before Marlowe's death, either in 1592 or 1593. It was performed by a performing troupe in England at the time known as the Admiral's Men. And they performed during Elizabethan and Stuart eras. They performed the play 24 times between October of 1594 and October of 1597. So you're looking about 8 times a year on average. As far as its reception, it's as diverse and wild as his life and his plays were. And my cats are here, so if you see them coming through, pay them no mind, pay them all the mind. William Prynne, who was a stage critic at the time, a play critic, sort of a Siskel and Ebert of the time, he alleges that actual devils appeared on stage during one of the performances, shocking not just the crowd, but also the performers themselves. Cat's eating my notes, I apologize. Allegedly, some people were even driven mad at the sight of these devils popping up. Now, being a religious person myself, being a Christian person myself, there's only one devil. So having multiple devils pop up on stage is absurd in so many levels. And I don't even believe in the magic part. So balderdash, but that is one claim. Another critic, John Aubrey, wrote that the lead actor of The Admiral's Men, Edward Allen, devoted his life to charity following this very event. Again, no. There are 2 scripts to this play. Again, nothing about this man was ordinary. So script A was released in 1604, has 13 scenes, and script B was released in 1616 and has 20 scenes. Overall, there's about 600 lines of text that separate the two, but all of that is what basically gives the 2 trains of thought. The Calvinists thought that everything's predetermined, your actions have no bearing, which we can get into. And then there are those who think that, no, he was given plenty of chances to repent, and he chose not to. And he had free will, and chose his own damnation. So there are 2 different theories about this play, which is the right one, which is the one that Marlowe actually wrote and intended for the world to see, and which is not. So let's get into the play.